Hey guys, can you hear me now? I'm sorry about that. This is my first live, if you haven't noticed. So just bear with me for a minute. Um, Let me see. If you guys can hear me, comments. All right. Thanks, Brad. Hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and start over. I got pretty passionate there. I don't know if you can see it on my face, but my name's Austin Farmer. Um, I'm the managing editor of the Hog Country, hogcountry.com. And I'm also the producer of the Hog Country podcast. And if you don't know what hogcountry.com is, it's just a small blog where we cover the Arkansas Razorbacks. But tonight, I'm not here to talk about Hog Country, and I'm not here to really talk about football. I'm here to talk about our fan base because I'm a little bit pissed off about some of the way that people have been acting and some of the things that have been said to my staff. Now, I've been a fan for as long as I can remember. I can actually tell you, pinpoint exactly when I became or fell in love with the Hogs. I was sitting in my living room floor and I was watching Ole Miss versus Arkansas. And I remember seeing one of my heroes from the Razorbacks, Matt Jones, take it 72 yards to the house for a touchdown. And he capped it off with an awesome dunk on the field goal. And at that moment, I couldn't go back. I was a Hog fan for life. So that makes it a little bit disappointing now that 20 years later, we're in this age of social media where you can just say whatever you want behind a keyboard and a computer screen and practically no consequences. And you just expect people to take it. Now, when I'm saying you, I'm not talking about you necessarily. I'm just talking about people in our fan base. Okay. But that brings me to my point about Sam Pittman deleting his Twitter this week. He deleted it today, he told us in his press conference, for mental health reasons. He deleted it because he couldn't see people make fun of him or not necessarily criticize, but just be totally ugly to him. And a lot of people are just pushing back super hard, saying he's weak because he can't take it. They're saying that because he makes $6 million a year, he should be able to just take this abuse. But guess what? He's human. And you guys don't see everything that he sees. It's not possible because you see what you tweet out or you post, and then you see what people around you tweet out and post. He sees everything. He gets thousands, if not tens of thousands of negative comments all the time. And that's overwhelming. It is for everybody. I'd like to see any of you guys go to work and just get bombarded with negativity all day and see if you don't mess up. And then when you do mess up, it's even worse. It's not possible. It doesn't matter how much you make. And if you had to delete it, then that's fine. Now, a lot of people are going to come out and say, well, if he wanted to delete it, guess what? He could have just turned his phone off. He didn't have to make a spectacle of it. But guess what? Social media is addicting. It is straight up addicting. Just because some of you guys can't take 5 minutes away from your keyboard to write crap about Arkansas Razorbacks or Sam Pittman, he can't stay away either. He has to go back and see because it's addicting. It's one of the most addicting things in our society. And it's like that for the players too. Guess what? They make NIL deals. They get their school paid for, but they're still human. They still see everything that you tweet. Now, a lot of people, whenever I say, maybe you shouldn't tweet that, they say, well, I should because, I can. And if they can't deal with it, they should just leave. Well, guess what? I live in the land of is, not the land of should. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe they should focus on football, but it's overwhelming and they can't. And they are being affected by it. And everybody talks about the definition of sanity, doing one thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. Well, guess what? We've done this for the last decade. People have just been pushing people out. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't have pushed Shed Morris or Brett Bielema out. I think we should have. But now you're doing it to a guy who brought us back from the brink of death. Now, I'm not saying there's no problems. I think that we need to fix it. And I think there are things that can be fixed. But that's not the point of this right now. The point is that you guys are pushing him out and you're expecting to have a different result. We're just going to keep doing in this cycle, going in this cycle, and never getting better. Now, that brings me to this part. I don't know if any of you guys saw, but Jake Bequette had the gall to tweet out that people like me who want to see the positive in last week's performance, who want to see things get better and focus on that, are actually what's keeping the program down. We're the ones who are actually okay with mediocrity, except every single point that he laid out, that everything that he laid out, none of it had to do with me accepting mediocrity or me accepting losses. All of those things, I can have those opinions and still not accept that we lost to LSU or to BYU. Now, here's what I really want to do. Here's what I really want to talk about. He actually attacked one of my writers. His name is Will, and he's one of the most talented guys I've met. He's one of the most talented guys in sports and media that I've had the pleasure of dealing with. And he's only like 19. The guy is going to do great things. But instead of talking about the merits of his argument, which Will talked about how mental health is important and we need to focus on that. Instead of arguing on the merits of Will's argument, Jake responded back and said something about how he has long hair and he doesn't know what pronoun he should use. I mean, that's what it's come to. Jake Bequette is out here just talking about pronouns instead of actually talking about, what Sam Pittman should do, or, what we should do about mental health. He doesn't care. He's just going to talk about, pronouns. And the reason why he's doing this is because he's losing the argument. Now, the point of that is that now we're digressing from football. We're digressing from what we love. And you know what, Jake, if you're watching this, which I don't know if you are, there's only 18 people watching this right now. But if you are, if you know so much about everything, why don't you take your resume, go to Hunter Yurchek's office, sit down, and then plead your case to be the head coach of Arkansas? You know why you don't? Because you'll be laughed out of the office, just like you were laughed out of the voting booth in 2012 or 2022. That's what I think. But you know what? I'm not above having a conversation with you. If you want to come onto my podcast and you want to talk with us and you want to talk about mental health and you want to talk about the Hogs, I would love to do that because you're still a Razorback. Although a lot of people really don't want you to be right now. But I'll have you on. I want to talk with you. If you want to come on, just send me a DM. Now, I just want to encourage you guys, if you are struggling with mental health, to go out and get help. As someone who has struggled with it in the very recent past, and someone who was also not the biggest proponent of it, I pleaded with you, go get help, because it does make a big difference, no matter what Jake Bequette wants to say. So I know this wasn't pretty. I know that I had some trouble at the beginning. Like I said, it's my first live, so just give me a little bit of grace. And if you want, follow us at Hog Country. You can follow me at Pharmasaurus Rex on Twitter. And with that, I'm going to say good night and farewell.